Welcome back to NASCAR World News. Kyle Busch sat completely silent while his own crew chief and spotter erupted at each other over the team radio. And now NASCAR itself wants a conversation with him. Something is deeply broken inside the number 8 car, and the entire racing world just witnessed it happen in real time. Let us go back to Bristol. The Food City 500 was supposed to be exactly the kind of race Kyle thrives in. He has 8 Cup Series victories at that half-mile Tennessee Oval, 22 wins total spanning all 3 series. Bristol is supposed to be his personal playground, but this time around, it became an absolute disaster. Kyle qualified 29th. That number alone tells you everything was already wrong before the green flag dropped. His car was loose throughout the entire event. The rear end kept breaking away from him. He could not navigate the corners the way he needed to. He begged his team repeatedly for rear grip solutions. Nothing they tried made any difference. He was buried near the tail end of the field, running 26th and 2 laps behind the leaders. Then came lap 313. Riley Herbst, piloting the number 35 Toyota for 23XI Racing, made contact with Kyle's left rear in turn 2. Kyle's car spun directly into oncoming traffic, and here's what made everyone stop and pay attention. Kyle said absolutely nothing over the radio. Not a single syllable. Complete silence from a driver historically famous for letting everyone know exactly how he feels when things go sideways. But his crew was far from quiet, and this is where things became genuinely uncomfortable. Crew chief Jim Pullman had been throwing adjustments at the car throughout the entire race. Nothing was producing results. His patience completely ran out. Over the team radio, he shouted, "What is the frickin' problem now? Is the thing sideways or is it plowing?" Then followed it with, "What the FK does it look like?" Spotter Derek Neiman attempted to de-escalate the situation. Reporter Dustin Albino captured the complete exchange and published it publicly. Neiman told Pullman, "Listen, I know you're frustrated. I don't like running 30th either, but us yelling at each other during the race isn't going to help. We've got to keep the glue folded together here. We're all still in it together. It's not over. We're only barely halfway through this thing." Dead silence followed on the channel. Neiman followed up asking, "You copy?" That is when Pullman delivered the 5 words now spreading everywhere across social media. It's the same thing every single week. Through every bit of that chaos, Kyle Busch, a 2-time Cup Series champion with 63 career victories, remained completely silent, sitting in his car running 26th place. That silence honestly speaks louder than any of the shouting happening around him. But Kyle was not finished with his afternoon just yet. With 4 laps remaining, he tracked down Riley Herbst and he collected his revenge. He drove his front bumper deliberately into the back of Herbst's Toyota. Herbst spun violently through turn 1 and hammered the outside wall. The collision brought out the 9th and final caution of the afternoon and pushed the race into overtime. Herbst had started that day from 4th position. He ended up classified 21st. Kyle crossed the line 25th, and that is precisely when NASCAR stepped in officially. Cup Series Managing Director Brad Moran addressed the media following the event. He confirmed Kyle would not receive a formal penalty, but he made one thing absolutely clear. Moran stated, "We'll be having a chat with him again. It's Bristol Racing. I'll be dealing with that one." No fine, no suspension, no points deducted, but a meeting and a direct warning. NASCAR made sure Kyle understood they were paying very close attention. Now let's look honestly at just how terrible this 2026 season has been for Kyle Busch. Through 8 races, he has recorded 0 top 10 finishes. His strongest result is a 12th place at the road course in Austin. He currently sits 24th in the championship standings. He is 46 points beneath the playoff cut line. His winless streak has now reached 101 consecutive races. His most recent victory came at Gateway back in June of 2023. That's approaching 3 full years without visiting Victory Lane. And none of this appeared suddenly. At Martinsville, just weeks earlier, Kyle qualified 34th, his worst starting position of the entire season. When reporters pressed him about the car's condition, he responded with exactly 3 words: sideways, undrivable, loose. Asked whether the team could repair it before race start, he simply answered, "No telling." At Las Vegas earlier this season, he described his car as broken. At Phoenix, he suffered 5 flat tires within a single race. A crew member could be heard screaming over the radio that afternoon, "All we had to do was limp to the frickin' caution. I'm holding a headset, not a steering wheel." This situation has been building for quite some time now. Part of the core issue is that Kyle's entire team structure changed heading into the season. Longtime crew chief Randall Burnett departed to join Trackhouse Racing, where he'll develop young driver Connor Zelich. Burnett and Kyle combined for 3 wins together during their partnership. Now Kyle has Jim Pullman directing his operation. Pullman arrived from the Xfinity Series, where he enjoyed genuine success alongside Justin Allgaier, but this represents his first season calling shots at the Cup Series level, and the learning curve has been painfully visible. People inside the garage are already openly discussing Kyle's future. NASCAR journalists Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi are publicly raising the question of whether Kyle and RCR should simply part ways entirely. Bianchi stated on their podcast, "Is it an RCR thing? Is it a Kyle thing? Kyle isn't great in this car. The stats speak for themselves. Is a change of scenery best for everybody?" He continued, "It's going to come to a head at some point. There's going to have to be some decisions made. It felt like a powder keg ready to blow up." Gluck summarized it plainly by saying, "You simply hate witnessing a genuine legend of this sport stuck in this kind of position." Denny Hamlin also weighed in extensively on his Actions Detrimental podcast, addressing the Bristol radio explosion directly. Hamlin stated, "Things are not going well in the Kyle Busch camp. They're all searching." Hamlin also revealed something genuinely surprising. He said Herbst's team had actually instructed their driver over the radio to target Kyle's left rear directly, so that initial contact was completely intentional, not accidental. Regarding Kyle's retaliatory move on Herbst, Hamlin said, "Kyle saw an opportunity and he took it. Did I have a problem with it? Yes and no, but more no than yes." But Hamlin delivered his harshest criticism when comparing Kyle directly to teammate Austin Dillon. Through the last 36 races, Dillon holds 1 win, Kyle holds none. Hamlin challenged him directly, saying, "You're a Hall of Fame Mount Rushmore driver. Carry it better than your teammate, who's won 10 races. Find a way." Then came the most brutal assessment of all. Hamlin declared, "If you're expecting Kyle Busch to just go back to victory lane on a regular basis, you are kidding yourself, or you're going to be very disappointed." Not everybody shares that harsh perspective, however. Dale Earnhardt Jr. addressed the situation on his own podcast and offered a notably different viewpoint. He said the radio exchange actually sounded completely normal to him, based on his own racing experience. Dale Jr. explained the conversation reminded him directly of his own days working through handling and balance issues with his crew chiefs. He described Kyle's radio communication as thorough and reasonable given the circumstances. Kyle himself has been remarkably transparent about his struggles throughout this season. Appearing on Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour program several weeks ago, he openly acknowledged that his own errors have contributed to the team's difficulties. He referenced an incident at Kansas last season where he crashed while leading, attempting to pass Chase Briscoe on the outside in poor aerodynamic conditions. He called it a poor decision, but he also stated firmly, "I haven't forgotten how to drive. I haven't forgotten what it takes to win." His contract with Richard Childress Racing expires at the conclusion of this current season, and the landscape of available opportunities looks genuinely bleak. Hendrick Motorsports has all 4 seats secured. Joe Gibbs Racing is widely expected to retain Denny Hamlin. Trackhouse has Connor Zielich positioned and waiting. 2311 has Corey Heim ready to step up. Spire Motorsports drivers are all under existing agreements, so the genuine question becomes, where exactly does Kyle Busch land in 2027? This weekend, the Cup Series moves to Kansas Speedway. Kyle's scheduled conversation with NASCAR officials is expected to take place there. His team is under enormous pressure. His crew chief is feeling the heat from every direction. 101 races without a win. His team radio just exposed every crack in the foundation publicly, and the entire garage is watching very carefully to see exactly what happens next.